All right, here we go. Hey, ladies, mujeres, welcome back to the Let's Get Latin show. In today's episode, we're going to talk all about the pros and the cons of being a Latina woman, okay? So you're not going to want to miss this episode. Let's get loud. Here we go. Hey, welcome back. Hey, Diana, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. All right, so I am super excited about this episode because we're going to talk about being professional Latinas today. All the pros and the cons of being a Latina. So let's get into it. I mean, how excited are you for this topic?
Super excited. We are certifiably Latina, so easy topic to talk about. We are pros on this subject. We have full Latin family households and heritage and aunts and uncles, grandmothers and cousins who we are able to tell stories about and also relate to.
Yes, exactly. So if you're Latina, listen up, you're going to want to get in on this because you know half of these stories are about your family too, okay? And if you're not Latina, come learn about the Latina world, okay? Because everywhere right now, I'm loving it because I see all these TikToks, right? So I'm going to start it off with, I see all these TikToks of men like what it's like being with Latina, you know?
It's always the crazy. Like, they're crazy. We are. But that's not the point. You make us crazy.
That's right. We're only crazy when we've been provoked to be that way. Okay.
Definitely.
Let's be real. All right. Only when provoked. So one guy said, hey, you know, what's it like being with a Latina? He's like, it's like playing with fire all the time. Yes, it is. All right. So let's get into it. Okay. So in your opinion, what's your first pro of being a Latina? What's one thing that you just love being Latina for?
I like that I don't let people walk all over me, that I am strong in having my voice. You're not going to just do and say whatever you want to me. And I'm going to be like, okay, no, we're going to have a problem. Let's talk about this. So,
but only a problem when what?
What do you mean? Only a problem when what?
You're only like that when people act what? In what kind of way?
Oh, so you have to be coming disrespectful or something that you know good and well you wouldn't be okay with, but you would expect me to be okay with. Now that's a problem. I don't do double standards. So what applies for you applies for me as well.
Yeah. So again, guys, we're only Latina spicy when we're provoked. So just don't provoke us and we'll be cool.
But the pro is I love my voice. Yes.
Yeah.
We're not afraid to
Yes. I will say that. I think that despite the way that we've been raised, I have always had a voice. As a matter of fact, I used to get slapped a lot because I talked way too much, especially talked back to my parents all the time. I'm going to say it. There you go. That happens in a Latina household. It just shut up, get slapped. But I was always like, hey, it got to be fair. Like, that's not fair. That's not fair. So I felt like I've always had a voice in speaking up. And I agree. I think that we maybe were raised not to have too much of a voice, but yet still allowed to have some sort of voice, right? But I kept going.
I think we were raised to have a voice in the outside world, but at home to know when to and listen about the respect. Yeah.
And it was always mándame when they say your name. Diana, mándame. Abby, mándame. Like mándame means like, yes, tell me what to do.
Right.
Naturally. So I agree. I think being
anything else. No.
That's what it felt like sometimes.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So I agree with you. One of the pros definitely of being a Latina is having a voice, being able to speak up. Now, that's not to say, okay, I'm just going to put the caveat out there. That's not to say that every Latina in the world has their voice. There are things that happen in life, tragedies or things that you've gone through, right? Some sort of trauma that maybe has kept you from finding that voice or having that voice. And that's what this show is all about, ladies, mujeres. It's all about helping you find your voice, helping you find that confidence. But what I have experienced, not only being a Latina, I'm also a businesswoman, I'm a coach, and I have just seen culturally that the Latin culture really, we are spicy women. Like, we don't let people walk all over us. We don't let people be disrespectful, but at the same time, we love hard and we love big and we want to have fun and we want friends and we want these amazing, good relationships. So it's, of course, life is a balance, right? It's just finding that balance of being spicy, fun, and exciting and finding that voice, but also knowing when to share your voice, right? Because not always is the time to share your opinion or your voice. So having that respectful, good balance, I think, is super important.
Yes.
So I agree with that. So one thing I'm going to share, one of the things I love about being a Latina is fun. Like, having fun, dancing, singing. Like, we grew up in a culture of singers. So my mom's side of the family, they are singers. They love to sing, they dance, we party. We're the crazy TikTok people that have the Latina parties, and you see all the little kids sleeping on the chairs or in a corner or on a bed or somewhere, right? We always have, because the party never ends. We just want to have a good time. It's just have fun, right? So every time we went to, go ahead.
What? No, I wasn't going to say anything.
Okay. So I was going to say, every time we had a party, whether with us, our families, our kids, but I think our kids like learned how to stay up, I swear. to party.
I don't remember our kids falling asleep. They were part of the party, definitely.
Yeah. So I remember, though, growing up with the family in Florida and going to parties and seeing the little kids sleeping everywhere on the floor. And I was like, oh, that's so true. That really does happen. I think that's one of the things I love, is just having a good time, having fun always, like, as much as possible, just trying to be the life of the party or having a party, because life is crazy and it's hard and we're all stressed out. And of course, like, we're no different than anybody else, but we just try to make the best of what we can in having a good time with our family. We're definitely very family oriented, culturally. And I have to say that most cultures, like, I'm not going to just say Latinas, right? I feel like a lot of cultures are family oriented, just like us. What would you say?
No, I definitely agree. I know there are a lot of cultures like that, because people like do barbecues and picnics and like to have a connection, which is great. In the Spanish culture, we don't need an excuse to get together for anything. It could be a baby shower. It could be, oh, we're just going to barbecue at the beach on a Sunday because it's a Sunday. Like, but just the being together, kind of to keep a unity and to like remind us, no matter what is happening in the world, that we have each other's backs, and like it makes life more bearable, but also just happier.
Yes. And you just said something really cool, which I think is another pro, is we always have each other's back. Like, no matter what's happening in your marriage, or with your kids, in work, like other people, other friendships, or just other people who don't like you, we always have each other's back. Like, we'll be the first ones to be like, we might call each other out and be annoyed with each other, but girl, I'll be the first one that has your back if somebody's trying to mess with you.
Certifiably the crazy one, always would have my family's back for anything.
For sure. That's her. Just so you know. I'm the fun one. She's the crazy one. Together we get fun and crazy. So, hey.
I'm reformed now.
You are. You have changed and transformed. Here we go. All right. Yeah. So no, but I totally agree. Like, I think culturally we're always there for each other. Like, family is definitely number one. We love and care about each other. We support each other, good, bad, hard, ugly, right? Whatever is happening. And we have raised our kids the same way. That's what I really love, is every single one of us, they're like, I'm seeing all my nieces and nephews growing up, getting married, having babies, leaving the house. My two oldest kids are up, grown, and out. One lives in Mexico, one lives up in New England. But family is still so important even to our kids. So generationally, what I love that we've done and what my mom did, what mom did and her and all of her brothers and sisters is they really instilled in us the love of family and supporting each other and being with each other and hanging out with each other and just doing things together. I think I just love that about, our culture and what we kind of do. Right.
It's always like the best of times too. Like I have passed that with my children. So we have family dinner, even the married ones. I have a son in Oklahoma and I have a daughter in Rhode Island and I have a son that lives over here in New England with me. And then I have my young ones that still are with me. Well, they're all adults except for my 11-year-old. But like we all have family dinner together every other Sunday. And then we have our family, like we go over Iris, our other sister's house, Iris. And like when everybody's down here, that's like the go-to place where we all get together and we have family gatherings and parties. And so that's just something that we've always done. And you're right. It was instilled from our youth, from mom's side of the family, definitely. I mean, we did it on our father's side of the family too, but it was always more so our mom's side of the family. And I'm happy it's something that was definitely passed down to us because it's a beautiful tradition to have.
Yes. And I'm so right now, if you're not Latina, okay, I will say if this is not something that you do in your life right now, okay, if you don't get together with your family, with your friends, all you need, ladies, is one Latina friend, just one. And I'm going to tell you why right now. Because with just one Latina friend comes her whole freaking family, her 50 brothers and sisters and cousins and kids. Okay. So all you need is one. And then you will be going to all the parties. That's right. So go find yourself a Latina friend. And if you can't find one, I'm right here. Okay. Here we are. This is your Latina night. Like, hey, I got to get on and listen to my Latina girls. This is what this show's about. We're going to have fun. We're going to get ugly. We're going to get real here. Okay.
You might even cry, but we'll laugh after. Don't worry about it.
That's right. That's right. I was going to say, I'll probably get a little vulnerable and cry. I'm definitely known to be the crier, y'all. Sorry. That will happen probably in several episodes when we get really real. Or the more that I have this. That's how real I get. No, but definitely. All right. So we talked about a couple of pros, right? So we've talked about some of the fun things, the really cool, great things that we love. So let's talk about some of the cons, all right, of being Latinas. All right. What's your number one or one of the ones that you can think of right now?
A con?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. A con is that sometimes, speaking for myself, we can get a little too spicy or a little crazy. When provoked, only when provoked. If you have not dealt with your like toxic traits or you haven't done your personal growth and your own healing, speaking for myself in the past when I had not, I definitely could get crazy on somebody if they didn't know when to stop doing something to me. So if I was provoked, is definitely like poking a bear that would definitely attack. So I think Latinas can get a little crazy, not necessarily unprovoked, but still not necessarily a healthy trait. So
yeah, I will definitely have to agree with you on that one. I've been married for 17 years, and I have 4 kids. Second marriage, by the way. And my husband's like, I'm scared of you. And I'm like, good, you should be. I'm okay with that. Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, hey, at least you know what I can be like. And I definitely try not to sit there. I try not to be that person all the time. But it's like, listen, I'm fun. I am so much fun. Just don't piss me off. Like that, like that's the level. And I feel like maybe the con is maybe our fuse is a little bit shorter than other people sometimes. Maybe like you said, if we haven't really worked on our patience and learned how to just be like, let me breathe. Let me take a breath. I'm like dealing with crazy people. Right. Oh, okay. So yeah, I will definitely agree with you on that. It's definitely a con. Like we can okay, so I do agree with your con. I think one of the cons is past trauma. that I feel like, and I feel like this is probably in many families, right? Not just Latinas, but one thing I will say is we were raised really not to talk about things that have happened or deal with really things that have happened. It was like your feelings kind of don't matter. And that this is just something from personal experience for me being a middle child, a middle Latina child. I felt like I don't care. Like I heard a lot of, I don't care what you feel, go do what I said. Right. So I always felt like I never had the opportunity to express how I felt. And so you bottle all of that inside. And you either become a person where you never talk about anything, right? And you hold all that trauma inside. And that could be one reason why you have a hard time finding your voice. Now, I did feel like that. I did feel like, oh, nobody cares about how I feel. I wasn't the girl that bottled it in. I just started talking about everything, no filter, right? So like past trauma and from family brought onto you, but you not really dealing with it and not giving, like, I never felt like our parents gave us the permission to deal with the trauma or the feelings that we felt.
I agree. I feel like we were raised to be strong. So it was very much push that feeling down and just keep going. So you didn't have that moment to really reflect on the issue. It was just pack it on, shove it way down, and you just keep going because we don't have time for that nonsense. Like you have to be strong. You have to keep, life's not going to stop for you. And I think that that's very unhealthy to pass down to your kids, but that was what they were taught. Our parents were taught that you don't have time for that. You have to just keep going and you have to be strong.
You don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Which I mean, makes sense in some scenarios. Absolutely. Because I feel like there's not always a time to cry, but you need to make time for it. So like maybe this isn't the time, but make sure that you find the time to let that out.
Yes. And that's, I think that's where what I'm saying is like, we weren't raised to find the time. Like, hey, it was, strength, right? What doesn't kill you? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's right. So that's right. Yeah. So like, that's the mentality. It's like, hey, it's just going to make you a stronger person, make you true. However,
makes a little crazy. It makes a little crazy person too, but it
makes a little bit of a crazy person, right? So if you don't deal with the trauma and you don't fix it, that's kind of like what we're talking about. Like we have to learn how to take the good things that we have, keep doing the good things. But where there's trauma, where there's negative, don't just pass it by. Don't just let it go. You got to go back and reflect on, okay, well, like us, I wasn't trained or shown how to go back and deal with it. And it's not until since I've been an adult that now, like I have pushed so many emotions down that I can uncontrollably cry sometimes. I can't even get myself under control when I'm having an anxiety attack or when I'm going through things because I hadn't learned the skills to go back and deal with that, trauma, that problem, or whatever it was, that issue. So this is my new, okay, now we're going to go into a, what's the solution here? So one of the things that I've learned in reading books and doing personal education, personal care, is I always give myself, when I'm feeling sad, when I'm going through a problem, I give myself a day to feel all the feelings. And I'm going to go through all the crazy emotions, the anger and the crying and the pity. And I will have my pity party. I will let myself have it for a whole doggone day, a whole day. I get 24 hours of feeling all the feelings. But for me, and everybody's different, but one thing that I know about myself is that if I allow myself to sit in that pity party for too long, it's going to go bad for me. I will spiral down.
Depression.
Yes, I will spiral down into depression and then start thinking about my whole life and all the bad things. And this life is so bad. So I give myself 24 hours. And then next day it's like, okay, Abby, get over it. Let's go. We're done. You had your say. you had your feelings, and you were valid in all of those feelings and those thoughts and those things. Now it's time to move forward. So what do you got to do to be stronger? Now I push myself and say, okay, that happened. That sucked. That is how I felt about it. I'm going to let it go. And now what can I do to move forward from here?
Nice.
Right? So that's a strategy that I have learned. I'm only 44, y'all. Okay. I haven't learned a lot, but some things. But I've noticed that that's something. So ladies, mujeres, if there's things that you're going through, okay, give yourself the day. You have valid reason for feeling the way that you feel, even if it's crazy. Okay, there are some days that I make myself crazy. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so crazy. I just can't stand myself. I get so annoyed with myself. Right?
Well, I don't think that it's because we're crazy. I think we have so many hormones. Our hormones. I was watching a thing yesterday. A doctor was talking about how the hormones are constantly changing in women. That was crazy. And I was like, and it makes sense. It makes complete sense because our hormones are constantly fluctuating. So you're asking rationality 24/7 from somebody whose own body is irrational a lot of the times. So I don't think that we're crazy. I think we're hormonally imbalanced at times, and we tend to neglect ourselves by putting everything before us as a priority. So not only are we hormonally imbalanced, and not all the time, but at moments in our stages of our life as we're ovulating and God knows everything that's going on, or going through menopause or whatever. So we're going through hormonal imbalances, and then we have to deal with our daily life and our children and our spouses, and then our own personal deep-rooted issues from childhood trauma or, generational trauma. So that's a lot to unpack for me. Go ahead.
No, go.
Finish. I know my thought.
Okay. So I was going to piggyback exactly off what you said, because I know exactly what you're talking about. That doctor was saying how women 4 times a month, y'all, ladies, 4 times a month, our hormones change, which means that our brain changes. Because he was talking about like guys saying, oh, I only want to be with an emotionally stable woman. And he's like, doesn't exist. There is no emotionally stable woman. And it wasn't in a negative way. It was because of the fact that our bodies as women, we change so much that our brain changes. Because he was talking about how some women are like, I don't get it. I wake up, I'm super happy, and I'm like so excited, so positive, and then by the afternoon, I'm like so negative, not in it, like just boom. Or the next day, totally different. And it's not because like, we're PMSing, we call it all these things, whatever, all these negative things. It is literally because our bodies, the way they have been designed, is that it changes. And so emotional stability in a woman is not going to be the same every day or every month, because we're constantly changing. And so it's not our fault.
The way that we think. So what we may have liked at one point, we may not like anymore. Or like the thought to do something one day, and then that next day comes and we're like, no, what was I thinking? I totally don't want to do that at all.
Yes. So people think that we're crazy, and it's not really that we're crazy. It's just that that's a hormonal imbalance that every single woman, I don't care what woman you are, if you're a natural woman who has natural hormones in her, estrogen and all these different things, right? We are going to go through these stages. So I think what I'm hearing is that we're really not crazy. We're just hormonally imbalanced.
That's what I think. On your point about what you do for, correcting your feelings and how do you do your pity party. For me, I do my shadow work. So for me, I journal any feeling that pops up, where it really stems from. And then I go into when's the first time I ever felt that particular feeling about that particular subject. And I do root work on past trauma and generational traumas, so that I can address whether this is my feeling or is this somebody else's feeling that was put onto me, so that I can address. So that's been my form of healing for the past few years. Why I'm not so crazy anymore is because I've just been healing a lot of the past stuff that we were taught to push down, that was just being lugged around with me everywhere. When I was younger, I had a very short fuse. I'd get angry very easy. Yeah, I'd quick to beat somebody up. You know, it became gotten to a point where I was like, I don't want to be this angry person all the time, because I had two sides. I was either really sweet and loving, or I was a fuse that you couldn't put out. And I was like, I didn't like how that made me feel. My blood pressure was high. I was always in this, like, I don't think I smiled. I think I used to scowl all the time. I had, was it RBF 24/7? You know, like my face was always like 24/7. I never smiled, I don't think, because I just was so tense and I had so much anger and repressed issues. And I think that shadow work was a big way of healing. And I think it's important for everybody to do.
I totally agree with you. I love the shadow work, and we're going to have an episode on how to do shadow work pretty soon, because I think it's super important. It's a great strategy, because you've been talking to me about it. And I think it's a really great strategy that all women should learn. And really, in fact, anyone that has things that they just kind of go through. I think every man, woman, child, it's something that I want my girls to learn. It's so important to train our kids. And I'm just going to shift here for a second and into our kids. And this is why also this show is so important to me, is because the things that we're going through, like we're talking about pros and cons of being a Latina, right? Being a woman, and what we go through. But honestly, everything, you know, the things that we go through, the pros and the cons of our life and who we are as humans, right? These are things that we're raising our children with. So I want you to stop and reflect. The good things, those are good. Those are good traits. You know, we're feeling, you know, like even us, we were taught family, tradition, fun, you know, enjoy each other's company, stay close, have each other's back. We have trained our children that way. So that's like a positive thing, right? That's a positive thing that we have done for our kids. However, the negative is also the fact is that we were raised to kind of be like, your feelings kind of don't matter. Push them down, be a strong person, be a good work hard, you know, ethic person. And now that we're older, yes, we have learned these new techniques, but I'll tell you, I know I've trained my kids the same way. Like, let it go. You're fine. Like your feelings, I don't care what you feel. Like, let's just go. Right. And so that's kind of something that now in my 40s that I'm really the last several years, I've been trying to retrain myself to change in my daughters and my kids, and saying, it's okay. Tell me how you feel. It's unfair. Why do you feel that it's unfair? Like, I want them to have more of a dialogue with me and to reason with me, have their own perceptive powers of wisdom, right? To learn how to think and to feel and to reason, like, why does this to you seem unfair? And then I allow them to speak. And then I tell them, okay, well, from a mother's perspective, as your mother, here's how I was raised, and here's why I'm saying ABC or whatever, right? So I'm trying to now correct that, because if we don't, like Iris always says, break the chains, right? She's always saying that. You know, it's like, break the generational chain of whatever, like, don't bring it to the next generation. Like, guys, we need to heal. Ladies, we need to heal. Mujeres, we have to heal. If we don't start healing, think of how you feel, the negative things that you don't like. You're literally putting that on your children. Do you want your children to feel the way you feel right now? Whatever those negative things are in your life, like all the good stuff, that's good. That's just the good stuff. That's what we want to bring to our kids. We don't want that part to change. But do you really want to bring all the negative things and the anxieties and, you know, the self, you know, not feeling worthy, the lack of confidence? No, man, you don't want to do that to your kids. So now's the time to fix it. Now's the time to journal, to do shadow work, to take that reflection and figure out, how do I change this pattern and change it so that it's healthier for my kids, and then for my kids to train their kids, right? So that healing can begin and change and be different.
Definitely. See, I've always been me and my kids always communicated a lot. So I was very big about, tell me how you feel, because we were raised to have to suppress stuff. My kids and I have talked for hours about, and every kid individually when they had a problem. I still have my kids who are adults who will call me and say, "Hey, Ma, do you have a moment? Can I talk to you? I'm having a really bad day." And I will stop what I am doing, and I'm like, "Absolutely, what's going on?" Let them vent, let them listen, and then give them practical strategies to like combat those negative feelings. I think that that's important, super important, because we didn't have that growing up. And the difference it would have made, the healthier versions of ourselves, we would have been at a much earlier stage than, you know, wanting to be healthier for ourselves at an older age. But, you know, like what a difference it would have made.
Absolutely. And so I'm going to put a pin in this and just for a moment say our mother is amazing. Our parents did, for the most part, a really great job raising us. It wasn't like we were, you know, all these crazy bad things, but it was just because of how they were raised. I know from mommy's perspective, she was very busy, always working. I kind of feel like her right now, like I'm always working.
Breadwinner of the household, but she was the breadwinner, so she was the one that always had to work. We were a big family. We were a family, 7. And we constantly, she made big breakfasts for like, not only us, but we always had friends over. So she was making big breakfasts, big dinners, the house, cleaning the house. Like she was the super mom. And how much time that woman never even had time for herself, which I feel horrible about because we're talking about that. And she never had that in our youth. I don't remember her ever taking a time to herself or a day. But that goes into how you're raised also. But
I totally agree with that. So I agree that she never did have time for herself. She really didn't do things like, I think of myself right now. I go out with my friends. We go, you know, drink wine, we go to vineyards, we go to little parties. We, you know, like I just came from a little party right before this, right? I take the time to enjoy my friends and family and things like that. But I think about back for mommy, she really never went out. Like, I don't ever remember her going out with friends and hanging out and like, I'll be back later, or taking, like, she took us to places to do things with our friends. But I really don't ever remember her doing things for her. Like, oh, I'm going to go do a spa day, or I'm going to go do my nail, you know, like not while we were young.
I do remember her like having like friends over, like couple friends over, but it was so rare. And they would like, their kids would hang out with us and then they would hang out together, but it was never like a regular thing. So I feel like she never really had time to just enjoy life because she was just so busy making sure that we were all good.
However, I will say she's in her 70s now and she is living her vida loca, okay? Because she is like,
right now.
Yeah, right. She's like, oh, I'm going to go to Florida. Oh, I'm going to go up here. And then, oh, I'm going on a cruise. And can you book me a flight? I know. So it's okay, ladies.
Making up for lost time.
She is definitely making up for lost time. She is living her vida loca and it's good for her. We support it and we love it.
Definitely.
But all right, so we talked about some pros and some cons. So anything else you can think of, some pros, some cons of being a Latina and being a mom Latina, being the way we were raised or anything like that? What would you say?
I think a pro is also that we know how to stand our ground when we need to when it comes to raising our children, or whether it's in our jobs or whatever, we know how to stand firm in what we said. So if I said this, it's going to be this. And I'm not saying like if I said something like that was really harsh and, oh, well, no, too late, I said it. I mean, like, in the sense of if I'm telling you like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, well, I might do it. I'm not going to do it. If I don't agree with what you're doing, I'm not going to condone that. I'm not going to sit here and even for my friendships, like I've had friendships and they're doing some ratchet stuff and I'm like, that's not cute. I'm not going to sit here and say that you're being cute and, ooh, go best friend. No, I'm not, because it's my job to let you know when you're slipping. And I'm going to let you know I'm not going to condone that. I'm not going to just jump on the party wagon because it's the thing to do. I'm going to pull you aside as a friend, talk to you one-on-one and be like, listen, what you're doing right now, it's not cute. That's not who you are. That's not the friend I am. Like I'm not the type of friend that's going to let you sabotage yourself. So it's my job as a friend to speak up as a woman and let you know, like, hey, you're making a mistake. Let's backtrack this and let's figure it out. So I think we stand firm on what we want.
Yeah, you lost my mic. Yeah, I was like, hey, it's like, I'm done.
I think it just died on me. I should have charged it. My bad.
No, that's okay.
It totally died.
It's just like, yeah, it's done. Yeah, that's all right.
Hold on. I got it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know what. Put your phone flashlight on.
That's what I was just about to do.
Oh, that was good. There you go.
So sorry. So unprofessional.
That's okay. We'll cut that little bit out. Maybe we won't. We'll just leave it in. Who cares?
Oh my gosh. Bloopers. Good Lord.
Yes. I gotta love bloopers. I gotta put my hair up, y'all. I've been drinking alcohol and I'm a little hot.
That made me hot. I'm getting nervous. My ears turned red and everything.
It's fine. Nobody cares. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It was funny. I was at a housewarming party last night, and so one of the girls had asked another one of the guests, it's like, oh, can you take out your hair? It's so cute. And she had like all this volume in the front and she had it pinned up. So she took it out and she kind of pulled it forward. And it looks so cute, so pretty. And she's like, is it okay? Does it look crazy? And we were like, oh, the front looks amazing, but girl, the back's a little crazy, you know? And then so one of the girls started laughing next to me. She's like, I love how honest you are. I was like, well, I mean, I'm the girl that's going to be like, hey, you got something green in your teeth. So I was just at a party and I'm talking, and after I left, I was talking to everybody saying bye. I get in my car and there's like green stuff in my teeth. I was like, all right, y'all. Come on. How you gonna let me talk to you for 10, 15 minutes and not tell me I got green stuff in my teeth? Like, come on. No, I will be the girl. I got your back, like for real. I will be the girl that says, hey, you got a booger in your nose. Go get it out.
You might want to go clean that real quick.
Yeah, girl, here's napkin. Trust me. Blow. Because as embarrassing it is, it's more embarrassing that no one told you. And you talk to 50 people that way. I'm like, it drives me nuts. Like, please, okay. So anytime you see something in my teeth that I didn't catch, please tell me.
Right. Okay? Or lipstick or whatever.
Or anything. Like, I will always be that girl that's going to tell you, like you're saying, I'm going to tell you the truth. The good, the bad, and the raw and ugly, right? Because I feel like that's what friends are. That's what I want. I want someone to be able to be like, hey, you're acting crazy. You need to like take it down 10 notches, right?
Well, I saw a video not that long ago about, it was a man talking about if your so-called friends are not willing to correct you when you're doing things that are not proper behavior, then they're really not your friends. Because a real friend is not afraid of ruining the friendship, because they know if it's a real friendship, it can't be ruined by honesty of me telling you, hey, like, look, what you're doing, and expecting the same thing in return. Like, he was talking about a guy, you know, talking to another girl that wasn't his girlfriend, and the friend saying, hey, what are you doing? Like, that's a lack of loyalty and respect and all kinds of things. And he was like, now all your fake friends are going to condone all that. They're going to be like, yeah, go ahead, da da da, she's pretty, da da da, and go along with it and co-sign it. But that's not a real friendship, because what's their real motive for allowing that to happen? It could be they have an interest in your significant other, or they just want to see you not succeed in life. They want to see your downfall because they have envious or jealousy or whatever. Real friendships are based on honesty. So
yeah, that's 100%. I totally agree with that. And I think that's just in general as humans, that's thing, that's something we should be, whether you're Latina or not, right? Like I believe that is just such a core thing of my life is I laugh because I've recently met some new friends, right? And I'm like, listen, this is going to go two ways. You're either really going to like me or you're really not going to like me.
Right.
And I'm totally okay with both. Like, I don't need everybody to like me. And I know I am not everybody's cup of tea. Hey, there's probably some of you on here who don't even like this show. That's okay. Bye. You don't need to be here. It's okay. Right.
Well, we're not for everybody.
Yeah, but be with your people. Like, I'm here to motivate you, inspire you, get you excited, get you be like, I am on your side. I'm here to support you. I want you to have a better life. And if I can support and help you in that in any way that I can, that is what I want to do as a human, as a woman, and as a Latina, as a mother. That is what my whole purpose. That's what I want to do.
Absolutely.
Right? If you don't want that, bye. It's okay. Go find your tribe somewhere else. And I am okay with that.
Definitely.
You don't have to like me, but your life will be better with me in it. I'm just saying.
So, think about it.
So, I mean, like, share this channel and just come on board, y'all. Ladies, just come on. You're going to like me. I promise. It's a lot of fun. You need a Latina in your life. That's all.
It's going to get crazy, but in a good way.
It's going to get crazy. Well, all right. Any last words that you want to share with our beautiful ladies here tonight? Any last words?
You need to keep tuning in, because not only are you going to get your self-confidence back, but you are going to, with us, build a community of women who've been to the same things as you, have been in the same scenarios, or has had the same kind of past, or even maybe present. And together we're going to really, really reclaim our power.
That's right. I love it. Those are some amazing last words. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today. Like, share this channel. Leave your comments below. We're going to read them. Listen, and if you're a hater, just keep moving on. You don't got to leave a comment. It's okay if we're not for you. Bye. It's okay. But if we are for you, okay? But if we are for you and you want support, if you want love, if you want motivation, if you want help finding your voice, being the person that you were truly meant to be, finding the passion in your life, then stay here, because that is what we're going to do here every single week. We want to support you. We want to build you up to find who you are, find your voice, and be the woman that you are meant to be your whole life. So thank you so much for joining. Leave your comments, and we will see you on the next episode of Let's Get Latin. Bye. See y'all later.